This is not a Trump video. So if that's what you're looking for, swipe left. This is part of the vacation series. And I got a question for you, fellas. If you were going to relocate to the Philippines, what kind of life would you try to build for yourself? I'm a little bit under 2 weeks away from my vacation 2026, where I'm going back to the Philippines. And I'll be back in Manila. Love it over there. I go to the Philippines every year for the past several years. I love it over there. I plan on spending more time over there. And I could easily see myself retiring there. But I don't plan on just jumping off the deep end into the Philippines one day and saying, okay, packed up my life in America and I've gone full bore on the Philippines. Something that most likely I would ease myself into. Once my kid goes to school, to college, well, then I'm freed up to spend more time in the Philippines per trip. Instead of kind of 2 weeks at a time, I can spend a month, 2 months, 3 months. What I'd like to do is kind of spend more and more time there, build longer and longer stints, till I eventually get to the point where I've kind of got enough of a life going on there that I feel like that's where I want to be. Sort of switch from spending most of my time in the States to spending most of my time in the Philippines to eventually saying, well, I may as well stay in the Philippines. That would be wonderful for me. But I kind of know what I'm looking for when I'm heading there. And I do think it's worth asking the question because I've been watching a lot of videos of late since I'm about to go to the Philippines and it's top of mind. And the guys who are in the Philippines are basically talking about reasons why guys go to the Philippines and fail. They go, they're there 18 months, they come back, they're not happy. Usually what it boils down to, based on what I'm hearing, is that the guys who went didn't really understand what they wanted to get out of the Philippines. Maybe they understood what they didn't want to get or what they didn't enjoy about the States, but they never actually stopped and asked the question, what do I want to get out of life in the Philippines? So they get there, they don't find what they're looking for, in part because they didn't really know what they were looking for to begin with. They're not happy and they eventually come home. For me, that's not the case. I know what I'm looking for in the Philippines, and I know why I'm going to the Philippines to get it. In my case, I'm looking for a lifestyle that I really can't get here in the States. I can't. I can paint a picture for you of what I envision my life looking like in the Philippines when I eventually relocate. I'll get over there. I'll find a nice woman who I, feel like I can really connect to and who I can trust. We'll get a small house. She'll want a couple of kids because she's going to be in her mid to late 20s or so. And we'll build a life. That's peaceful to me. That's enjoyable to me. But that might not be what you're looking for. So I'm going to talk about kind of what I want, why I want, and encourage people to kind of think about what they want out of life and kind of pursue that. I'm kind of hardwired. It's just the way I am. I need purpose. And people in my life is really what gives me purpose. If I've got a little woman at home who basically relies on me to be the provider, that works. That's a comforting thing for me to have. Okay, I've got a responsibility here. I've got a reason here. And if that woman wants a couple of kids because, she's in her 20s and doesn't have kids, and most people want kids, I'm not going to deprive her of that. I actually think that would just add to my life. Couple of kids and I'm good. I know plenty of podcasters who are in the Philippines, 50s, 60s, starting new families. And I get it. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't you? That's not for everybody. I've seen plenty of podcasters who go to the Philippines. They find a nice little woman. They get a house kind of out in a province. They live a quiet, peaceful life, and that's what they want. That's peaceful to them. Makes perfect sense. It's just a matter of how you're wired. For me, that to me feels like just waiting to die. But a woman with two young kids, to them is probably a whole lot of stress that they don't want to deal with at this point in their life. So, it's not a right or wrong thing. It's more just a matter of style. What kind of style of life do you want for yourself? I can say, with confidence, I don't want to get married again. I'm not going to get married again. I did that once. Didn't enjoy it. Don't plan on falling into that trap again. Well, over in the Philippines, that's, one, not an issue, because I wouldn't expect a woman I was with over there to demand marriage. But two, well, it's part of the reason why I wouldn't want to get married in the first place. I don't trust the same way anymore. I know what divorce rates look like. I'm not going to put myself in that kind of predicament. In the Philippines, that's a culture where there isn't divorce. And it doesn't just affect the way people get married. It affects the way women approach dating. Let's not pretend like there's not plenty of single moms over there. They're having their fun. But I notice in the dating that I've done, the women are generally looking for something more serious. They may have bad approaches to it. They're like messing with the wrong guys and using the wrong bait. But I notice more women over there are looking for relationships. Far fewer women are just looking for situationships and hookups. You're not going to go to the Philippines and find tons of women who are saying that they're waiting until they're 30 to get married, or feel like, in their early 20s, they're too young to get married or look for something serious. It's quite the opposite. Not like that. If I didn't have a woman and a couple of kids, I'd still find ways to preoccupy myself. I would look for things that I could create. We've got a podcast. I would spend a lot more time trying to develop my podcast. I'd look for lots of other things that I could create. But the problem is that unless I'm talking about the woman and the kids, there wouldn't really be any reason for me to go to the Philippines. If all I'm going to do is focus on my podcast and, kind of being creative, I can do that here. The Philippines is very specifically the ability to find a good woman and have a family, have a life, and feel comfortable with it. Now, you can do that in the States. I mean, I could try to do that in the States. I just don't trust the process. I can say unequivocally that at this point in my life, I have way too many trust issues for it. I don't trust marriage anymore. I know what the divorce rate is, and I know the divorce rate for first marriages, second marriages, etc. It doesn't look good. So getting married to a woman in the States when all I'm going to have in the back of my head is how long is this going to last and how much is it going to cost me? That's just not going to happen. Philippines, I can have the life that I want, and I can have the reassurance that I'm not going to get gouged on the back end by somebody who may have just gotten in this to have the kids they want, after which point they plan to cut me off because this never was about a relationship. It was just about financial security. I don't want to harp on that too much, but I do just want to be honest about it. There are a lot of guys who are looking at the Philippines, and what they want might not be something they need to go to the Philippines for. Low cost of living, yeah, Philippines has a low cost of living. And if you're comparing like big city life in Manila and Cebu to life here, you can live kind of big city life way more affordably. But there are plenty of inexpensive places where you can live in the States. I mean, if you live in New York City or near it like me, well, okay, move to Florida, move to who knows where, move to some place that's cheaper. You don't have to go to the Philippines for that. For me, what I need that's available in the Philippines is people. People in my life with a level of trust that I just don't feel like I'm going to be able to find in the States. So that's my thing. For the guys who are thinking about the Philippines, what is it that you want? And what is it that you think the Philippines is specifically going to be able to provide you that you can't get here? For the guys who've gone and failed, that seems to be the question that they're not asking. It's not so much what can I get in the Philippines, it's what can I get in the Philippines that I couldn't get in the States? And if you don't actually have an answer to that, what seems to happen is you start to realize, I didn't need to come all the way over to the Philippines for this. I'll be traveling to the Philippines in about 2 weeks. So I've got some time to make a couple more videos before I head out. If you like the series, you're curious about what's going on in the Philippines, then drop some comments, and I encourage you to click subscribe. Otherwise, I also encourage you to get your passport, make a trip, get those passport stamps, champs.